Okay. I don't even know what to say this time. We're going to try this for the fifth time. So, high five. Um, what do you say? All right. So, we are letting people know that we're joining. Um, I am going to see if I can't just push this along. All right, Helena, I just sent you a request. There we go.
Hi,
We're in.
I'm here. I see you. I hear you.
That's awesome. Okay, I gotta make it a little bit louder because I couldn't hear you. Cool. Well, let's dive in. Better late than
Better
never.
late than never. Fifth time's a charm.
That's
High
right. I'm calling this the high five.
five.
High five.
Yes,
High
we're
five.
here. We got it.
Um, well, and it's perfect because I've got 5 questions, and maybe we can do it where it's fifth try, 5 questions in 5 minutes. What do you think about that?
Okay, I can speed through. I like the theme of five today. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, welcome everybody. Helena Kelly with us today, a marketing strategist with over 10 years of B2B marketing experience. We are going to dive into product launches and go to market, which is Helena's expertise. So, with that quick intro, Helena, for those who don't know, what is a go to market strategy?
Absolutely. So in its simplest form, baked down, a GTM plan is the way in which a company brings a product to market. It can bring a product to market, a solution to market. It can just be launching a completely new division within the company, but it's that step-by-step guide that details and measures the viability and success, and also predicting performance. So I think an important caveat too is that a GTM plan is more short term, where your business strategy or your
Like
marketing
short
plan
term,
is more
how
long
long
term.
typically would you say?
I mean, the more time you have, the better, but very often marketing gets brought in very late to the game, or we get brought in as an afterthought. So a GTM plan can be developed in 6 weeks or 6 months, but again, the more time that you have to plan, the more, concise and consistent and baked your plan is going to be with all of the stakeholders within the company.
So, question 2, what are the components that go into a go to market? If you need so much time to plan, I'm guessing there's a lot of different moving pieces.
There are many components, but I like to distill it down into 4 main areas and kind of congregate those tasks into 4 main areas. First and foremost is your foundational research and planning, right? Like everyone thinks their idea is the best and they're super excited and they're ready to evangelize, but you really have to do your due diligence and figure out, who's already in the market. How are you going to position yourself? What is going to be your strategy to enter into the market? What problems is my solution going to solve? What are the big picture struggles in the industry? So I really think doing that research and planning and making sure that you're going to have a viable footprint in that market, and looking at your competitors are super important, just to test your theory and your thoughts, to make sure that you're going to have success. So that's first and foremost, is planning and research, step one.
Okay, got it. Step 2.
Step two is making sure that you have, a documented roadmap, that you're working with your R&D team and your product development team, and you have a logistical outline of, what you're going to develop and what that's going to include and how it's going to be brought into market. So obviously you need to make sure that your product and solution is working before you can build a promotional plan around it.
Got it.
Step three is the marketing strategy, right? This is where, as marketers, we roll up our sleeves and we identify who our target market is, the main types of individuals that are going to be buying our solution. We craft our messaging. We dive into the features and benefits and the claims and the proof. And that's especially important because, again, you have to be able to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and you have to back it up with quantifiable data and proof, because that is really what takes you to the next step to elevate your
What are those things? What would be the type of proof that would be helpful to provide?
I mean, it's quantitative data. You can't just say you're the best or, you're the most expansive. Like, what types of statistics do you have to back that up? And quantitative data, if you're talking about coverage, can you say, well, our coverage is 80% more extensive than ABC providers, or,
Okay.
in testing, we have 99% accuracy with our solutions. So again, yeah, just that tested, tried and true data is going
Yeah.
to make
All
you
the
stand
stats, all the
out.
numbers. Got it.
Yep. And
Cool.
then, so again, like, for the marketing plan, you also have to think about like how tech savvy are your buyers? How are they going to be consuming your solution? Is it brick and mortar? Is it online? Are they able to self-serve? So you have to think beyond, bringing the product to market and how that's going to be consumed later on as well. And then the fourth piece is planning for a seamless customer experience. Once you've onboarded your customers, what type of support are you offering them? Are you going to have a sales team? Are you going to have a client support team? How will I reach my customers and manage my prospects? Looking at your CRM tool, like, you have to go beyond just the launch. You can't just set it and forget it. You have to look into the future as well.
Well, I mean, it sounds all like super important information. And is there ever pushback from the business, or do you ever have to offer an explanation as to why a go-to-market plan is necessary, or do you feel like it's pretty well accepted?
I think marketing is always continually educating and trying to get involved early in the process. We want to sit at the executive table. We want to help inform product roadmap. So I feel like, for businesses that, again, as I said, marketing a lot of times is an afterthought, and we get brought in way too late in the stage. And it's like, okay, we need to launch this product in 2 weeks or 6 weeks. So I think we should always be evangelizing about that, and having a seat at the table with those conversations that we can help inform the product roadmap. Our goal as marketers is to take that product and develop messaging that is easy for our audiences to understand and consume. And so if we're involved in that front end, it makes that process a lot easier for us to understand.
So how many weeks ideally would you want? If you said I could ask and I would be given the perfect amount of weeks, and I'm sure that there's a range, but like, what would that be in your mind?
For me, my sweet spot is about 16 to 20 weeks that, you can dive deep into the plan, you can iterate, you can make adjustments. And, this shouldn't ever be done. A GTM plan should never be done in a vacuum. That gives you time to test it with prospects. It gives you time to test it with investors. It gives you time to test it with clients that are using your other solutions. And so it really just lets you validate and, confirm kind of the initial thoughts that you had for developing this product or solution.
Well, question 5. So the last question 5. What is a great example of a go-to-market? Like, who do you think nailed it, or who do you think consistently nails it?
I have 2 examples, but the first one is Microsoft. So Microsoft Surface, their bread and butter is operating systems. So people might have thought, okay, like, why are they going to, develop a service and a tablet? Well, they saw that there was a void in the marketplace with, iPads and with other types of tablets where essentially people didn't want to have to buy both. They didn't want to carry around a tablet and a laptop, and they didn't want to pay for the cost either. So what Microsoft did was they came out with the Surface, which was basically, had a lot more functionality than an iPad. It's essentially, a full-fledged computer, but in that smaller packaging. And so they really targeted students. That was a big niche for them, and they were able to fill that gap at a much lower price point and having more functionality.
Do you have any idea of how much market share Surface has?
I don't. That's an interesting question. I mean, compared to iPads, it would be interesting to kind of dive deeper into that.
Awesome.
But
So what's your other example?
So the second example I wanted to share is Southwest Airlines. So, this company has been around since the 70s. And for them, it wasn't just, a product or solution. They're recognized as one of the most innovative companies in commercial aviation. And what they did with their airline strategy holistically was they completely deviated from, the hub and spoke flight plans where, okay, to get from New York to Houston, I have to stop through Dallas. And they said, well, why are we making people have an extra stop? So they developed all point-to-point flight plans where you can completely circumvent, a large hub city, because it's adding commuter time and, adding just time into people's schedules. So that was
Right.
a fantastic example of a company that just their entire launch strategy and marketing strategy was built on a new area.
Yes, no, as someone who lived in Dallas for 7 years, I'm definitely aware and a fan of Southwest. So great examples. Well, we did it in more like 10 minutes, but I still feel like we covered a lot of different topics. And Helena, thank you so much for joining and sharing your go-to-market experience. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Amanda.
Yes, and I'll leave with one final note, which is we're going to continue the series of interviewing marketers. If people have ideas or different topics that they want to cover, different types of marketing, whether just marketing in general or specifically for B2B tech startups, send me a note, whether a direct message or leave a comment with this video. So thanks again for joining, everyone, and Helena, appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great
Have a
day.
good one.